For bleeding procedures on the gauge-built GB731, you will need the following items: the 745163 fill bottle assembly, a 1/8 inch hex wrench, the 731010 bleeder nut, a torque wrench, 6-inch dial calipers, and a 3/16 T hex wrench. To start the complete bleeding procedures, please refer to the GB731 manual under Filling and Bleeding Instructions. Step number 1. Remove 4 button head cap screws, A-928. Remove head cylinder from handle assembly. Ensure air piston assembly is at the full bottom of stroke by pushing power piston rod assembly down. Step number 2. Fill power cylinder 731237 and oil passage hole for O-ring S832. Be careful not to get oil into the air passage hole. Place gasket 704129 and O-ring S832 on top of the handle assembly. Step number 4. Push piston 731211 to the rear of head cylinder 731298 until it stops at dimension B. Step number 5. Press head cylinder 731298 down on top of handle assembly 722132, being careful not to tear O-ring 403773 on top of power cylinder. Install button head cap screws A-298 and tighten evenly to 40 inch-pounds. Step number 6. Lay tool down on its side with bleeder screws facing up. Carefully remove the front button head cap screw and status steel from the hole stamped number 1 on side of head cylinder. Attach fill bottle assembly 745163, making sure button head cap screw and status seal are in place on hole stamped number 2. Step number 7. Connect tool to air supply. Piston 731211 will then move to forward position. See dimension A. Cycle tool 10 times. Step number 8. Disconnect air supply. Check dimension A located on your manual. If dimension A checks within 1/16 of an inch, proceed to step 9. If dimension A checks long, thread bleed nut 731010 onto piston 731211 until snug, bringing piston full forward to dimension A. Remove bleed nut 731010 and recheck dimension A. If dimension A checks within 1/16 of an inch, proceed to step 9. Step number 9. Remove fill bottle assembly 745163 and replace button head cap screw and stat of steel on front hole stamped number 1 of head cylinder. Torque to 35 to 40 inch-pounds. Step number 10. Connect air supply. Cycle tool to rear position. While depressing actuator level assembly, disconnect air supply with piston in B position. Step number 11. Carefully remove the back button head cap screw and stat-O seal from hole stamp number 2 on side of head cylinder. Attach fill bottle assembly 745163, making sure button head cap screw and stat-O steel are in place on hole stamped number 1. Step number 12. Connect tool to air supply. Cycle tool 10 times until no air rises in the bleeder bottle. Step number 13. Disconnect air supply. Thread bleeder nut 731010 onto piston until snug, bringing piston full forward to dimension A. Step number 14. Remove fill bottle assembly 745163. Replace button head cap screw and stat-O seal on back hole stamped number 2 of head cylinder. Torque 35 to 40 inch-pounds. Remove bleed nut 731010. Step number 15. Connect tool to air supply and cycle tool 10 times. Step number 16. Check stroke of 600 thousandths. We recommend using dial calipers. Subtract dimension A from dimension B. If stroke is not consistent within 1/64 of an inch, repeat steps 6 through 16.